the left has sought to kill President Trump, put his life in danger, sought to jail President Trump. They killed Charlie Kirk. They're encouraging violence and lawlessness against federal law enforcement and ICE, suggesting the laws shouldn't be followed. And the context of this is President Trump using his lawful authorities under Article 2 of the Constitution and Commander-in-Chief to deploy the military to protect life, limb, and property in various cities, including here in Washington, D.C. Is there sedition in Congress targeting President Trump? It looks like there is. Of course, the media is defending the outrageous video that was posted by Democrat members of Congress, essentially encouraging the military to engage in a mutiny and disobey orders of President Trump. Now, of course, they won't say that's what their intent was or what they said, but you could be the judge, and I think we all see through what they did. And here's the video. It includes, let's go to Twitter here. Our friends at Libs at TikTok posted it nicely for us. As I said, leftists promoting a military coup. Here, let me see what you think. Let's play, because the media will tell you what they said, characterize what they said, but I want you to see what they said so you have the context.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
How on earth is that not encouraging sedition? They're not fooling anyone. First of all, what unlawful orders is President Trump given or is set to give that would warrant a video like this? What they are implying quite directly is that lawful orders that they don't like, Democrats or leftists or progressives, whatever you want to call them, should be ignored by our military, should be ignored by civilian intelligence officials. So if this isn't a sedition or calling for effectively a military coup, I don't know what you would do other than being more direct in doing so. So in my view, they're fooling no one. It's certainly encouraging in a dangerous fashion sedition against the president, mutiny, whatever you want to call it. And they are using their status as veterans to provide, I think, dangerous and bad faith advice to members of our military. And I just can't believe they think that's appropriate. So what is the response? Trump is bad because Trump highlighted it seditious, highlighted that the potential penalty in some cases for such sedition is the death penalty. So what is their response? Oh, we didn't say that. Well, they're not fooling anyone. They did say it. And I do think they should be subject to criminal investigation. I call these 6 members who participated in this the seditious 6. They should be subject to criminal investigation. And to the degree any of them are still subject to military jurisdiction, yeah, I'm not sure if any of them still are. Maybe Senator Kelly is. The military should call them back into service where appropriate and commence court-martial proceedings over this sedition. You know, the left has sought to kill President Trump, put his life in danger, sought to jail President Trump. They killed Charlie Kirk. They're encouraging violence and lawlessness against federal law enforcement and ICE, suggesting the laws shouldn't be followed. And the context of this is President Trump using his lawful authorities under Article 2 of the Constitution and Commander-in-Chief to deploy the military to protect life, limb, and property in various cities, including here in Washington, D.C. And they simply are echoing the left's malicious defamation that that's unlawful and it's somehow inappropriate, when in fact it's perfectly reasonable under the law and given the conditions taking place and the threats to the public safety and federal law enforcement in these various left-wing controlled cities. And what they're doing is they're trying to set up a very dangerous situation where the military or members of the military refuse to follow lawful orders by the President of the United States. And you're not fooling me by pretending them to be unlawful. Do you expect them to come out and say, you should ignore President Trump's orders, whether they're lawful or not? No, they're not going to say that. They're going to couch it in the terms they did. Watch that video again and tell me if you believe that there was a completely innocent recitation of what the law is as to the rights of the military to follow only lawful orders. They're fooling no one. So what is happening now? They're complaining to the U.S. Capitol Police that Trump threatened them. So they're trying to divert attention from their unlawful and potentially criminal conduct by pretending Trump did something wrong by defending himself against this seditious conspiracy. So and I'm not going to bore you with the law. You can, these days, you don't need me to tell you how to look up what the laws at issue here are, potentially. But just so you know, there are civilian laws, meaning laws that cover those of us in the civilian world, both criminal laws about this type of behavior. And if you're in the military, there are laws within the military legal structure where you can be subject to court-martial. And I think I think all of that should be pursued. So I'm not going to pretend to ignore my eyes, right? You know, it's like, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes, right? I see what they did. You see what they did. And indeed, they're kind of trying to run away. Oh, we didn't mean he had done anything unlawful. We're just worried about what he might do in the future. What might he do in the future that requires you to encourage essentially military resistance to civilian control of our armed forces? I mean, I keep on talking about this coup that's been taking place, and it's been a long, slow-motion coup against our republic, and its most significant iteration has been the targeting of Trump. And here we just saw it this week. This is a dangerous situation for America when you have politicians gambling with lives. Are they suggesting, for instance, that lawful orders, because this is the position of many on the left, and many people disagree with, I think what he's done has been perfectly appropriate, his taking out these drug smugglers, these drug runners on the high seas. So if someone decides it's not a lawful order to pursue this, how's that going to work? Who's going to be placed in danger in those circumstances? You know, here at Judicial Watch, you see a lot of awful things by government officials, politicians. This is near the top. It's really an assault on our Republican form of government. Appealing to the military to take a stand against the elected President of the United States. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, what would be outrageous is for the Justice Department not to pursue this. What would be outrageous would be for the War Department not to appropriately investigate those that are still subject to their jurisdiction under the law. And Trump should just keep on keeping on this. And I would go a step further than what President Trump has said. I would, if I were President Trump, direct the Justice Department, the Attorney General of the United States, and the Secretary of War to investigate and, if necessary, arrest and then prosecute, if the facts and law warrant, the individuals who did this. Just do it. Really incredible.